Hello. I don't know if this is going live. Are we live? Okay, it looks like we're live. Hi, welcome. If anybody's out there, let me know if you can hear me okay. I haven't done this for a while and I have a different setup, so we're doing something a little bit different because I feel like it. So let me know how everything is going. And I will just say hello, welcome to anybody who comes into chat. All right, there we go. Make sure that's all working. It looks good to me. Um, doesn't look like anybody's here yet, but that's okay. This is kind of a last minute thing. I did allude to this. Hey, thank you, Molded. Thank you for showing up. I did allude to this in my post yesterday, but I wasn't sure if anybody would show up, especially you. You're my biggest fan, my only consistent viewer. So thank you, welcome. Oh, okay, time to play. Let me switch screens. There we go. All right, here we are. How are you? I am I am hanging in. Let's just say that very allude. I did very allude to it in my post yesterday. And then I posted on a poll that nobody seemed to see last night. Um so yeah, there has been an illness in my family. My father was quite sick. I haven't gone to see him yet, but I'm planning to go see him tomorrow. And I just got back from sitting, and yeah, my schedule's a little bit wonky, so we're playing catch up. But we're here. You're tired, but okay, cool. So I started playing this game. I bought this game, Be Like a Crow, a couple years ago. This was created by Tim Robbins at criticalkit.uk. And I picked this up at a convention. He signed it for me. And I also picked up the matching cards that go with it, because this solo game uses cards as your mechanic versus dice. So, yeah. While you're here, just a friendly reminder, YouTube things, don't forget to hit the like button so more people will see it, hopefully. Push the algorithm. Anyway, so I picked this up years ago and hadn't played it. And then recently, I don't know if I alluded, I haven't talked about it much here on YouTube, but I decided to try being a GM. And I signed up for an event coming in July to do a one-shot in Dungeons and Dragons 5e. And I'm, putting on the hat of becoming a game master. And I thought, you know what? In the meantime, why don't I play this? I have it. I also have a 5e one solo adventure created by Tim as well, I believe. Um anyway, I picked this up because it looked like cool. I think crows are cool. They're what? I caught a little bit before it was retracted. Did you retract it, I guess, or did YouTube? Said something about a video game. Anyway, so I have this game. I finally decided to pick it up and start playing it, and I've been watching other solo RPG content creators. Oh, there's a game where you play as a crow. Interesting. Okay. I didn't know that. Um, so yeah, I started playing this, and a little bit about the game. You use cards, and you have a choice of different corvids. You don't have to play as just a crow, and I'm sorry that it's not completely in focus. I did the best I could with the my settings. Okay, cool. Yeah. You can post them. I believe I have my community tab on YouTube open that you can share things there. If not, that's the only way you can really get to me because you don't have my Discord. Otherwise, I'd say just join my Discord. Anyway, so it's a basic game you can play as your choice of corvid. It's okay. No rush. You don't have to type all you want. You start the game as a fledgling, and then you have different life cycles. And sorry, I got distracted because I thought I could hear my own game. I'm watching it in the background just to make sure everything looks okay. I know, that's okay. But if you ever can squeeze me in, that's fine. Anyway, yeah, so you create your character. So you can be a carrion crow, there's magpie, a rook. I'm playing as a raven because I think ravens are kind of cool. And there's also jackdaws. And then you can choose your setting. So there's urban crows, so like you're a modern day crow living in the city. There's a cyber crow where you can play, futuristic cybernetic crow in the cyber future. There's a gothic crow where you can play in a gothic, Frankenstein, Dracula kind of world. There's a good old fantasy, D&D, swords and sorcery kind of crow. There's the steampunk crow, which airships and mechanical things. And then there's one called the Ravens of the Tower, which is a scenario that takes place in the 1800s London, in the Tower of London, I believe it is. Tower of something. I think it's the Tower of London. So I chose to be a raven, and my setting is fantasy. And then there's little boons and everything about each setting. Unfortunately, the maps were not included with the book. I had to go onto the website and download the maps, but the maps were free to download. And yeah, it's got really beautiful art. And then the basic gameplay is you draw a card to, after you've created your character and set your setting, you have your, this is what is the word I'm looking for? Character sheet. So they have a character sheet in the back of the book here, and instead of pulling that out or photocopying it, I just recreated my own. This is my old reading journal. I used to try and keep a journal of all the books I read, and I just, that's not for me. I decided. So I had half of this bullet journal. I figured I'm going to turn it into my RPG journal. So I created my, wow, words, character sheet here. You have different skills. Your travel and exploration skills include flying, hopping, searching, and navigation. You have social interaction skills, which include befriending, signal. That's like sending off a call to warn others or, alert others. A scare tactic, and mating. If that's, if you want romance. There's tools and rituals, which include dancing, which is sort of a way to perform a ritual. There's singing. You can use a tool because corvids are very intelligent creatures. And there's preening, which is your way of healing. And then in combat, we have peck. You can peck somebody with your beak. You can claw them. You can dive bomb them, or you can evade them, which means, to evade them. Each corvid gets up to 6 injuries. And you can carry 2 objects, one in your beak and one in your talons. So you start as a fledgling, and as a fledgling you generate an objective, and then you draw cards to help you complete that objective. And as a fledgling, you complete 2 objectives. You can level up to become what is the next lifestyle cycle? A juvenile. And then once you complete 4, you can level up from a juvenile to an adult. And then after that, you become an old crow. So that's a little overview of it. This is still available on their website at criticalkit.uk. Pretty sure that's the name of the website. Oh, criticalkit.co.uk. Can I get it? There we go. In case you're interested in this, they also have Be Like a Cat, which is one I'd like to pick up. They also have other modules for this. They have a Wild West one, and they have a horror one called Cthulhu, which I think Cthulhu sounds kind of cool because I like that kind of horror genre. You're already an old crow. Well, I mean, I would be an old crow, I guess, too. So, that's kind of how it goes, and the rest of it I can explain as we go. So you have events while you're flying, events while you're on land, and then each of the settings has their own objective rule table, objects table, so things you can find, and then different characters you would find and locations. So all that, let's throw a bookmark in here, just a piece of ribbon, and I will go over what I have been going through so far. I have titled this a corvid conundrum, just because it sounded fun. I'm sorry. That's what I'm trying to explain, because I know also my video is not the best quality, so don't worry. I will be explaining and reading out loud. So the website was criticalkit.co.uk. So my tales so far. My tale begins in my home nest where I was hatched. My family lives in an old oak tree in the center of the village of Sylvania. The village was built around the tree in honor of its connection to the earth goddess. The people of the village regard my family with high esteem as the guardians of the tree and the village. I have dreams of bigger things. We help the druids of the village. I have befriended one named Aster. So this is a call to my current D&D campaign. I am, at the time, I was playing a druid named Aster, who had a familiar named Giselle, which, by the way, is the name of my raven. She came to me crying today and said that her elder has fallen in battle, and we must travel to a necromancer's hideout to find their body and perform a ritual funeral. We set out at once. So that was a objective that was generated through the prompts. I wasn't able to print the world map, so I just recreated it in my best artistic abilities. This is a hex-based map, but I, in my journal, cannot draw hexes very well, so I've made it into a grid. If I can get it close enough, you might, probably not. See, I have faintly marked the map with grids. And I'm looking for a token. I have a button nearby. So we started here in the village of Sylvania. I decided that the necromancer's hideout was just one square south, and so that's where we went to next. We started in Sylvania, and we went to the necromancer's hideout. The hideout is south of the village a little ways. I'm becoming a good flyer. The terrain is unfamiliar. I think I might be lost. I soon find my bearings and locate the correct path. So I ran into a complication where I had the chance of being lost, but I succeeded in my navigate, so I was there. Soon we reach our destination. Upon arrival, we meet a friendly elven soldier who informs us the location is safe and the body is under guard. We enter the necromancer's hideout and head to where we were told the body would be. I lead the way. As we go, my wing became caught in some spider webs. Somebody didn't clean much. I managed to free myself without injury. We get lost along the way and backtrack a little while before we find where we took a wrong turn, just after the spider webs. We locate the body of the elder, and on the body I find a leaf of Yggdrasil. It's the tree of life. I'd never know how to pronounce it. Yggdrasil? Yeah, that's what we'll say. On the body. And so this is an item I pick up, and whilst carrying this leaf, I can make a fly check when leaving a hex, or a square in my case. And on a success, you can choose to travel for 2 hexes before making another turn. So each time you fly from one hex to another, you need to generate events. And then that's where I left off, and I decided I want to know, what does this necromancer's hideout look like? So I came up with an idea in my head, and I drew a little thing in here. We'll probably be doing a little bit of this. This was the generated map that came with the game, but when we get places like we're heading to this city right now, which we'll get to in a minute, or like the necromancer's hideout, there are no maps for that, so I want to create my own little maps, and I might ask for your help to do so. So this is our story so far. So we're at the necromancer's hideout. I perch on a lantern hanging near the table in the center of the room. So this is a table in the center of the room, and there's lamps here, and there's a table and some things. It's not important. It's mainly for me. As Aster and Feridwin, the elven soldier, remove the body, I become distracted by an object on the desk in the corner of the room. I hop over there and slip in a puddle of oil next to the desk. I twist a couple of feathers out of place. I took an injury. Once I make it onto the desk, I see a shiny ring. It has a silver band and a large black crystal. And then this is another item I found. This is a ring of Gaia's? I don't know. I slip my talon through the band, and it seems to magically adjust to sit on my ankle perfectly. It's a magic ring. And what does the ring do? I forget. I wrote it down. You can turn invisible at will to succeed on an evade check. It has 2 uses. I begin to make my way out of the hideout to the field nearby, when I run into a jackdaw spy, a familiar of the deceased necromancer. He is very angry and tries to bite me. I evade his attack and flee. I make it out of the building with the jackdaw, hot on my tail. When we catch up with Aster, she uses a story wisp to destroy the corrupt bird. We lay the body in the nearby meadow, and Aster asks me to call other ravens to attend. I call out, sending a signal to nearby ravens to attend the ritual, and a group of 8 gathers. I start to dance for the ritual, but my twisted feathers cause me to wince in pain. The other ravens see my pain and come to my aid in performing the ritual. I land on Aster's shoulder and comfort her. She then lights the pyre, sending the elder into the next life. The ravens fly up with the smoke and circle for a moment and then vanish. With our objective complete, we spend the night camping quietly in the woods. I take the time to straighten my feathers. I heal my injury, and the next day we set off for home. Along the way, I meet an elder crow named Draven. An elder raven named Draven. He said he had a mission for me if I would be willing to venture out on my own without Aster. I say I would like to, but I ask my human first. Aster is proud of me for this decision and wishes me well. So I leave my human companion. Draven tells me that a necromancer has captured a dwarven merchant and intends to sacrifice them at the next full moon, which is 13 days away. I must travel to a school for wizards in the city of Amisdor. Okay, I'm changing the name of that because in my head I always say it as Asmidor, even though it says Amisdor. So we're going to change the name of it to Asmidor. Make sure I change that. Asmidor. It's my game. I can change the name of the city if I want to. To defeat the wizard, I must perform a dance ritual while holding a mead of poetry. I thank him for the information, and I set my course for Asmidor. I find a good air current and travel faster than I can recall ever going before. Suddenly, a maze doors. I mean, maybe? I mean, a city would be a maze of doors for a crow or raven. Suddenly a mist appears before me. Where did that come from? I adjust my course and fly clear of the mist and continue to the city. So I went from my necromancer's hideout 2 squares over, and I'm 1.5 squares from the city now, and that's where our story picks up. So we completed our first objective, which was the ritual funeral for the elder, and now our second objective is to find the mead of poetry. We'll get to the city of Asmidor, right? Asmidor, yeah. I'm forgetting it already. Where did I write this? Find the mead of poetry in the city of Asmidor, and then also locate the school for wizards and defeat the necromancer to save the dwarven merchant. All right, what do you think of it, this story so far? I kind of like this because it is it's words. As I hydrate with some sparkling water. It's an exercise in creative thinking. Because you get the prompts, but then you have to kind of fill in the blanks to create the story as you go along. And I think that will be a good tool for being a game master. You managed to pick up a workplace injury. Does that get better with time? Yes. So on a long rest, when I was camping out, I said I took the time to straighten my feathers. So on a long rest, you can heal one injury. And so the twisted feathers was one injury. So I healed that overnight. There are other ways to heal along the way. So yeah. I did draw one Joker. This is the lovely Joker in the card. It is a red-eyed corvid. And Jokers give you several options on how to use a Joker. I don't know where that came from. Twist tie. Let me see. What are the options with the Joker? I know a Joker, you can heal 2 points. You can automatically succeed. Where are the rules on those? Ah, here we go. It's here somewhere. Honestly. Using Jokers. You can automatically win a combat attack. Not the whole battle, just one attack. Automatically succeed on a skill check. You can heal 2 injuries, and you can discard a card and draw again if you don't like the outcome. So I currently have one Joker, which I set aside. That's currently in play. And then I believe I just reshuffled the deck. So we're going to do that. I currently have no injuries. Just give it a little bit of a shuffle. So we've been flying for a while. We got up and we met this crow, and he gave us our new objective. And then we flew for a while. We ran into a mist. We covered 2 squares, so I'm going to say it's probably about time that we land and take a rest. Maybe gather some food. So instead of writing it all out, I'm going to kind of bullet point it. Actually, maybe I'll do a separate piece of paper. And we'll bullet point, and then I'll write the rest of it out. So we're going to what did I just say? We're going to attempt to land. And when we're on land, we have to complete 2 land events before we can take off again. So we're going to land and we're going to look for food. Look for food. So, get my book here. We'll move the journal. No, we still need the journal because it has my map in it. And my character sheet. All right, that's fine. Okay. I have not thought all this through. So, we go to events on land. So first, let's go ahead and land. We're going to say we land. There's no event to, you know, making a landing. I mean, I guess we could if we wanted to. Not really. No, there's nothing for landing. There's for taking off and flying, but not for landing. So we're gonna say we land. Oh, here we go. There's actually an event on land that says you're hungry. So we're gonna go ahead and go to that one. It says you're hungry, make a search check for your favorite snack. If you fail, you become fatigued until you find sustenance. And all skill checks are made with a penalty. Oh dear. You can make another search check at the end of each turn to stave off the hunger and return to normal skill checks. Okay, so we're going to make a skill check. So we go to our character sheet, and for search, I have 1 tick in search, so I have a little bit of ability in it. So the way we do skill checks is we determine what the skill is we're going to do, and then we draw a card, and that's going to be our, what is the word I'm looking for? Our goal. Is that make sense? It's what the yeah, I guess that's the only way I can think of it, our goal. So we're doing a search check and we want to get, okay, we got a joker. I did not intend that. So we'll put that aside and we'll draw another card because, or we could use it to automatically succeed. Let's wait. So we want to do a search check and our goal, okay, so we need to get a 3. So the next card so we have a +1 to search. So we need a 2 or better to succeed. Aces in this game are 1s, and the face cards are 11, 12, 13. So we get a 2 or more, we succeed. So we draw a jack. All right, a jack +1 is 12. So we succeeded. So we got our favorite snack, which would be, what would our favorite snack be? Any suggestions? What do you think a raven's favorite snack would be? Favorite snack. Maybe nuts? Some acorns? Berries. Okay. So we find some wild blackberries. Oh, those are yummy. Okay. So we succeeded. That's one land event that we, determined because that's what I was landing to do. Keep it cheery. Well, it does have a list in the character of what the things they like to eat are. So ravens' diets, they're a carrion. They like mammals, birds, eggs, insects, and other invertebrates. But they could also, I'm friendly with the druids, so probably berries and nuts would be okay. It's fine. Yeah, wild blackberries. I can just imagine my raven landing down there and going, "Ooh, blackberry bushes," and running over and getting blackberry juice all over their face. We'll keep it cheery, yes. All right, so now that's they ate everything. Yeah. So that's one land event because we already, so let's generate a new one. So we're going to flip the next card and it's going to give us the Jack of Spades. So our lands, events on land, and the blacks. So a jack is a gang of gray squirrels or creatures of your choice accost you. You are outnumbered. Make an evade check to escape. Otherwise, they steal one object from you and you take an injury. Oh no! A gang of gray squirrels comes at us. Oh dear. Gray squirrel attack. Alright, gray squirrels. So, they want to take one of our items. We have really good items. We have the leaf that lets us travel 2 squares, or we have our magical ring that lets us become invisible and automatically succeed on an evade check. I think we activate that ring to escape. Punk ass gray squirrels, yeah. It's like, yo, Raven, what are you doing over here. This is our place. This is our berry bush. Get the out of here. No. We want your ring. So I can make an evade check or we can automatically succeed. But if we don't succeed, they steal an object and give me an injury. Not anywhere as near as noble as red squirrels. I've never in my life seen a red squirrel. I think they look adorable. So I think we're gonna go ahead and use one of our uses on the ring. So it only has 2 uses. This is our first use. So I forgot to grab a pencil. It's okay. Luckily I have one here. It's a funky drafter pencil. Okay, so we have 1 use left on our ring, and we also have 2 jokers. So we could have used a joker also to automatically succeed. Forgot about that one. All right, so we evade them and we run away. We become invisible and we sneak off into the bushes where they will not see us. So that's 2 successful land events. So now we can try to take off and continue on because we had our rest, we had our lunch. So let's try, we're going to do a fly check. And we have to do that every time because we're still a fledgling and we are learning to fly. We're getting better, but we're learning. So I have 1 mark in fly. So our goal challenge rating is going to be a 2. Oh, that's going to be easy. As long as I get an ace or higher, we succeed. So yeah, we succeed at, that's a 7 of clubs. We succeed at taking off and flying away. We fly away. All right, so while we're flying then, what happens while we're flying on our way to the next square? The 7 of spades is a conspiracy of ravens are performing an airborne healing ritual. Okay. A conspiracy. I thought a group of ravens was an unkindness. But maybe it's a conspiracy. If you know, let me know. Okay. Ravens performing a ritual. Was it a ritual of healing? Airborne healing ritual. Yes. Join them and make a sing or dance. A dance or sing check. If you succeed, you can remove 1 injury tick and they will gift you with an object. Alright, so we don't have any injuries and we can't accept any new objects. So what I'm thinking is we're just going to say, nah, peace out. We're on our way. You used to know. Oh, yeah. It's okay. Because I thought it was an unkindness of ravens. I mean, I know it's a murder of crows. I thought it was an unkindness of ravens. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're gonna peace out on that one. We're going to use a joker. I'm gonna say we're gonna use a joker to evade them. Because we don't need all the jokers in the world. So we're gonna evade them and continue on our way because we don't have time to perform this ritual and we don't need to perform this ritual. So we're going to continue on. We have another event in flight before we can move on to our next hex. And we have a 5 of hearts, which is a rook, flies by and asks for your help. If you accept, you may generate a new objective. Okay. Google says, yes, it is an unkindness. Thank you. I thought I knew my ravens. So it maybe whoever wrote this just thought it was a conspiracy. I don't know what a conspiracy is a group of. Okay, so we can have more than 1 objective, and maybe we'll complete this new objective before we find our mead of poetry in the city. So new objective. So we meet a jackdaw. right? Is that what I said? A rook. We made a rook who gives us a new objective. All right, so now we need to figure out what that objective is going to be. So for that, we go to a list of objectives for the Fantasy Crow setting, and we're going to draw a card, and our new objective is a king. Okay, we can generate our own objective or draw again from this table. Let's make up our own. So let's say the rook needs help finding something. Find an object. Okay, so we need to find an object for this rook and take it back to them in this square on the map. Bring it back to them in this on the map. Okay, so we were here, we landed, we had lunch, we're on our way over here. So we'll say the rook is in this square, and I'll put rook here on my map to remind me. So we need to find something and bring it back to this rook. So let's go to our table for objects, and let's draw an object. What is this rook looking for? It is the 6 of diamonds, which is, okay, called the shard of Gyoil. We're going to call it a shard of Gull. A tiny rock that can be used to trap a creature. Okay. So we need to find a shard of Gull, like the seagull. They have G-I-O-L-L. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay. And it says this is a tiny rock that can be used to trap any creature. And you can make a dance or sing check to perform a ritual. On its success, chains sprout from the ground and restrain one creature. The creature can only be freed by the bearer's command, and only one creature can be restrained at a time. Okay. So this rook has this thing. Maybe this thing, we're not looking for it for the rook, because maybe the rook doesn't want it, but maybe the rook knows this thing exists and wants it taken to and thrown in the river, because there's a river that runs through this place. So yeah, we want this, and we want to throw it in the river. So we have to find this thing. Okay, so the way I've been generating locations of items is I grab my handy dandy bag of dice and find myself a small die of any sort. All right, this is a D12, it'll do. And we're just kind of let it roll around on the map. D12s and D20s work best because they roll a lot. So this shard, it's kind of in a square, so we're going to put it over here. And that's by a castle. So this shard of Gaul is at this castle. Any clues as to what it looks like besides every other small rock? No, but we can say maybe, what do you want it to look like? It's tiny rock. So it's a shard. Maybe it's obsidian or some sort of crystal. And it is located over in this castle. Ooh, we're not going that way right now. So we don't need to know where the rook is. Do I have an eraser? Yes. But we need to know the shard. The shard is in this castle down here in the bottom southwest side of our map. And it's maybe a crystal or obsidian. And it's at the castle. All right, so that's probably not something we're going to do right now, but it's something we can think about in the future. Maybe after we complete defeating this necromancer in the city, we can go find this shard and take it and find it and throw it in the river to dispose of it. All right. So yeah, that looks like a good objective. So do I have a place on my character sheet for objectives? Yes, okay. So we're gonna put down here a little asterisk. Find shard at castle. Throw in river. And I'm writing it on my character sheet in pencil because once I complete it, I can erase it and then we can go. A rock for a rook and a shard is ours, right? We're not gonna give it. I decided. I'm not giving it back to the rook. We're gonna throw it into the river because this is something that can be used against us. All right, so we are flying. We evaded the raven ritual, and then we took on this new objective from the rook. So now we can move to our new square. And we're just south of the city now. But I think it's time we land and maybe take a rest or look for some more food. Maybe it's dinner time by now. I could have actually drawn for the location. I didn't want to. Maybe next time we get something. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and land. And when we land, a queen of spades, we meet a friendly character who gives us some important information. You can make any one future check with authority as a result of your knowledge. Okay, so who are we going to meet when we land? So let's go to our characters, and we're going to draw the king of spades is a young dragon. All right, so we landed and met a young dragon. Anybody have a name for the young dragon? See, I bet you didn't know this was going to be an interactive stream. Young dragon. All right. So I could come up with a name for the young dragon unless you can come up with one. Young dragon is named Ivor. Okay. And he has some information for us. So it's Welsh, all right. So let's say this young dragon named Ivor, very nice young dragon, and he can tell us information. So let's say he can tell us either where we can find Mead of Poetry or where the school for magic is. So how should we do this? either you can tell me or I'm going to come up with a dice roll and we're going to figure out what it is that Ivor has to tell us. Where's my giant D6? Okay. All right. So I have a giant D6 and we're going to say on odd numbers, he can tell us where the school is. Let's get better odds. Let's get a bigger die. That's a 10. That's also a 10. Where's the big? Okay, a 12. 12s are good. I like 12s. Actually, you can probably see the small one better than the big one. Okay. Okay, so on an even number, he can tell us where the school is. And on an odd number, he can tell us where to find the mead of poetry. So probably in a tavern, maybe? Let's find out. Ooh, it's an 11, so that's odd. So I've already forgot what I said. Odd was going to be the mead. So he can tell us where we can find the mead. Okay. Where we can find the mead of poetry. Where is mead of poetry? So, the mead of poetry can be found in a tavern, of course. What is the name of the tavern? Anybody have suggestions? I'm looking for also other generators to help with storytelling. So it's in a tavern. What is the name of this tavern? And then also, is it because we're gonna have to create a map for the city at some point. So let's come up with a name for the tavern. The Shawn Sheep Tavern. Okay. And is the tavern located in... So if our tavern, or if our city is divided into 6 quadrants, we have the north, west, west, north, quadrants like that. I guess the middle would be the center of town. So northeast, east, west, southwest, south, southeast. All right, so what quadrant of this city will this tavern be in? Let's see, we don't have 9-sided die. So you can either tell me or I can... What can we do to generate this? We could roll D10. It's in the south? Okay. So it's in the south quadrant of the city. That's good. We're approaching from the south. In the south quarter. Well, it's not a quarter, but quad. It's not a quadrant either, but it's what would be a 9 by 9. I don't know what a 9 by 9 is. Anyway, okay. So yeah, cool. So he gives us advantage. Now, what kind of advantage? Less distance to fall when drunk, yes. Okay, so I can make a future check with authority as a result of my new knowledge. Hello, welcome. It does come with a map. I have recreated it loosely, but it's general world map and not a map of locations within the city. So it like tells us there's a village here, there's a city here, a castle. It's a world map. It's not within location. So I'm going to be creating my own city map when we get there. Like for instance, this is a map of a location, the Necromancer's hideout. So this book doesn't come with those locations. It does have a chart where you can roll for locations. But since we know it's in the city, we just got to figure out where. And it's up to us to explore it. But thank you for asking. And welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Excuse me while I hydrate. Also, how would you like me to call you? Because I don't know how to pronounce PR22. Okay, so we can make an advantage on one future ability check. So I think we're going to have the Corvus expansion for this. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is only the one I've played so far. I will have to look into that. The Corvus expansion. Let me make a note. Corvus expansion. Okay. What was I saying? Okay, so we can make future search checks to find this tavern. Future search to find tavern with advantage. Okay. Might have to stop soon because my voice is getting a little bit sore, but we'll continue on. All right. So yeah, that was successful. We met a young dragon named Ivor, and he told us where we can find this mead of poetry in the Sean Sheep Tavern in the south of the city. So what else happens while we land looking for food? Our 9 or 10 of clubs. Oh no. Now we meet a character who is hostile, and you have time to make an evade check to see if you can hide somewhere before they spot you. If you fail, your cover is blown and they engage in combat with you. Oh no. Okay, I haven't actually done combat in this game yet, so let's see what character we going to encounter now. If it's another young dragon, that would be funny. All right, so we are going to encounter... I'm so dedicated, I'm beginning to sound like a raven. We encounter a court jester. Okay. But he's hostile, so, what would make a court jester hostile? Encounter court jester. Maybe he's fed up with people not liking his jokes. He's like, I came out to the wilderness to be alone, and here you are. You're bugging me. I hate ravens, because I forgot I'm a raven, not a crow. I hate ravens because they make me feel sad. Okay, the court jester. Ravens make him feel sad. We're just gonna write that down because that sounds fun. Make him feel sad. Oh no. Okay, so we have to make an evade check to see if we can hide somewhere before they spot us. All right, so they haven't spotted us yet. So let's see. We have evade. We have a +1 to evade. Also, we can do it with authority, which means we can draw 2 cards. All right, so what is our difficulty rating? Challenge? Difficulty rating, we'll say that. 6. Okay, so we have to get a 5 or better to evade. And we have authority, so we can draw 2 cards. So I'm going to draw them both at the same time. And we got a 6 and a king. So we succeeded in evading this jester. We're not going to fight him. As funny as that sounds like it might be, we're not going to fight a jester. So we evade him. We're like, sorry, dude, it's not our fault. We didn't do it. It wasn't us. And now we're going to fly away. So fly check, we get a 10 plus, so that's our goal, our difficulty challenge. And oh no, we got an ace. And we only have 1 to fly, so that's a 2. So we failed our fly check. So we're gonna receive an injury. No, an injury. All right, so we what kind of injury do we have? So we're going to take off and fly away from this guy, and we get scratched by some thorns in the nearby bush. So now I have 1 injury. Oh no! Embarrassing, yeah. We sneak away from this guy, and then we fly into a patch of thorny bushes, like, ow, 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 ow. Okay, but we do make up. We do make a take off, and we fly. And then once we're in the air with our poor scratched injuries, what happens next? The Queen of Hearts. We fly into bad weather. And then we have to make a search check to find a place for shelter. Oh dear. Okay. So we fly into bad weather. Just subbed, and hopefully I can catch you on your next adventure and have a look at Corvus. Very good, dark, medieval, full of rot. Perfect for corvids. Ooh, that sounds good. I was looking at getting Cthulhu. When do I stream? Ooh, this is my first time doing this, so I have a varied schedule. I'm probably going to aim for every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Gesture-related injuries are no laughing matter. Otherwise, in my regular content on Tuesdays and Fridays, I post videos of Vintage Story, which is like Minecraft, but harder with Lovecraftian horror elements. Okay, so we ran into bad weather. There is a terrible rainstorm. And we have to land. Maybe it's a whole thunderstorm. And we don't want to get struck by lightning. So we need to make a search check to find a place for shelter. So our search ability, we have a +1. So our difficulty is going to be an ace. Okay, anything beats an ace. But we'll go ahead, that's a 5. So we succeed in finding a place to land. So let's generate a location. 8 of diamonds. Ooh, a secret room beneath a statue. So we're out in the wilderness and we come across a statue. Let's see, where are we on the map? We're approaching, so it's right on the road it's right on the outskirts of the city. There's a statue maybe saying, hey, this way to the city. And we find this secret room underneath the statue. That's kind of cool. That's a good place to hide. So we're gonna hide. Are we hiding or are we just sheltering? I think we're just sheltering. Yeah. So we're sheltering in the base of a statue. and thank you for the sub. I still don't know what to call you, PR22, but thank you. The shelter in the base of the statue. Okay. So we've been going pretty good. We took off. We flew for a while. We stopped and had lunch. Some yummy blackberries. Got chased off by squirrels, and then we flew some more. We got a new objective. We landed for dinner and found the young dragon named Ivor, who told us where we could find this mead of poetry in this tavern, the Shawn Sheep, at the south end of town. So then we have a statue. I'm gonna draw a little statue. Yeah, that's my best impression of a statue. It's a square base with a squiggly thing on top. So yeah, that's how we've gone so far. So my debate is whether I keep playing and see if we can get to the city, which would require generating a city map, or we stay here. So we're going to stay here and spend the night in the shelter. Because it's been a long day. We've been flying quite a ways. We've traveled, well, I guess we've traveled like, 2 squares. So we're going to spend the night here. And so while I'm spending the night, I can heal my injury. What else? Is there other things I can do during the night that maybe would be a better use of my time? Don't think there's anything specific. It just says on healing, once per hex, whenever you land, you can make a preen check, and on a success, you heal 1 injury. Okay. Practice taking off hops. Well, when we level up, we can get better at flying. But right now, since we're just a fledgling, that's why we're having trouble. So we're going to spend the night and we're going to heal our injury. We're going to take our time while we're sheltering from this storm to heal that injury. And then I think I'm going to call it for today. Tabletop game. It's called Earthborn Rangers. It's a little bit more involved, but there's a lot of things that happen unscripted and you have to deal with it in your cards. Interesting. I will look into that. Let me make a note of that one as well. That is a Earthborn Rangers. Okay, so that is how far we're going. I think I'm going to call it for today because, like I said, my throat is a little bit sore. I have to save my breath for tonight because tonight I am going to my D&D session, assuming they don't cancel. So I'm going to take all my spent cards, place them on top of my deck. I spent a joker. I need to erase that, and I still have 1 joker left. So yeah, since everybody is here and had a good turnout, thank you for coming to watch. I will try and do this again next Wednesday. Trying to figure out where to put my joker. I guess I'll put it on the bottom. Hi, Nat. And then yeah, thank you for coming by. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this view was okay. What else can I say? Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoy this, and like I said, I will try my best to be back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific to continue our story of Giselle, the Raven, in her quest for stuff. Thank you, Molded. I am planning to make a trip to go see him tomorrow. He's not near me, so it's going to take me a couple hour bus ride because I don't own a car to go see him. But yeah, tonight I have D&D. They haven't canceled yet. So I have 4 hours to prepare for that. Not that I'm GMing. I'm actually just as a player. Wait, they may have canceled. One of our players that hosts was sick. No, he hasn't replied, so who knows. But yeah, my voice is a little bit sore because I haven't talked this much for a while. So thank you for all your well wishes. Thank you for everybody who turned out. Again, don't forget to hit the like button, and thank you for the subscriptions. And yeah, we'll see where Giselle gets to when she enters the city. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking now. Thanks for watching, and I will see